Show.
We've got it going tonight here on another episode of Do You Remember This Movie?
On this TV show.
Is there a robot here in town, everybody? Anyways, what up, Cam? What up, Trent? I see you guys are rocking the Vikings. I got my Canada represent up here in Toronto. We're filming from Canada tonight. At least I am. I don't know where you guys are. Probably somewhere in the States, eh? But yeah, I'm excited. We watched some interesting movies this past week, and I would love to hear from Cam on the synopsis.
Now it's time for the synopsis with Cam. The synopsis with Cam.
All right, our first film is,
If you want to call it that.
the Garbage Pail Kids. 7 intergalactic demons invade planet Earth and are quickly forced into sweatshop labor. They seem to like it, and they proceed to increase their productivity. Then they get bored with it and go to the movies. Am I missing anything?
That's
pretty
about
much.
That's about it, man. I mean, the IMDb synopsis is just, yeah, about that. So that's your synopsis? Or
that's more or less the movie, I would say.
Yeah, okay.
There's a few warehouse scenes. You gotta love a good old warehouse scene.
Well, let's find out who's in this movie.
Of course, yeah. Oh, the tail wasn't there that time, keeping us on our toes. Well, first off, I want to say, ready or not, here they come.
Nice.
Oh, it's not the taglines with Corey, is it? It's the,
This tagline says,
Cool.
"It doesn't get grosser than this."
Ooh, there's another one that says, the garbage gang is alive and grosser than ever. Anyways, so I normally do like 3 people from this movie, but I'm going to list off 8 people from this movie. You ready?
Okay.
All right. First off, you got Dodger. Then you got Alligator. Then you got Valerie Vomit. Windy Winston. Foul Phil. That one's for Phil. Nat Nerd. Greaser Greg. And Messy Tessie. Just, those are the people in the movie. You got any clips? Let's get into it.
Okay. So the movie we're watching is Garbage Pail Kids, if you haven't figured that out.
Garbage, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, this movie, it's tough. It's tough. It's a fun watch in the sense that like you have to be like, wow, somebody did this. This happened. All right.
Before we get into it, did you have cards?
I did. I wasn't as into it as other people, but I did have a bunch of cards. But my sister had like the collector's book that you could put all the cards in, right?
Like you put baseball cards in?
Yeah, and it had like the names of each one, so you knew which ones you were missing, and then she would trade with people and stuff. I just I was like, oh, vomit, neat, and then just moved on. I'm more familiar with the movie than I am with the cards. So this movie starts off with
Cards.
yeah, Cam kind of mentioned this. I'll make sure my volume's down a little bit here. Cam mentioned this already, that it is supposed to be they're from another planet, but that only exists in this opening segment. It's not really brought up again. I do like that they're showing the cards. Kind of a cool graphic too. You can tell that they're actually a physical thing. All right, here's our spaceship garbage can. It doesn't ever happen again in the movie. All right.
Oh, yeah, I can't forget about the Nat Nerd there.
And then there's the garbage can again. Anyway.
Or if you lighten the contrast and everything, you see like the
strings.
cables holding the can.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that we're supposed to believe that they crash landed to Earth, but inside the antique shop.
Right. Because all of a sudden it just cuts to the antique shop, didn't it? Yeah. And then we'll go through here, but then they go to the antique shop and the garbage is just there. You like going antique shopping, don't you?
I do.
Just keep an eye open for any like garbages and just with like that. And if you see something, just maybe open the lid and see what's inside.
All right, so if you did have a garbage can with Garbage Pail Kids in it, the only thing that can keep it, there's only one thing that can keep them contained, right? And so I feel like I'm more prepared than you guys.
If you have a garbage full of ooze.
No, I have.
Yes. Bringing it back. For those who weren't around for older episodes, that premiered in our Night Swim episode, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, Night Swim and 12 Feet Under? What was that called? Deep, two sisters trapped underwater.
12 feet below.
12 feet.
I don't remember what it's called now.
Two sisters and a drug addict in a pool. I don't know.
Yeah, anyway, so I just wanted to bring my scuba helmet. You know how many times you get to use a scuba helmet like this a year? Right? I mean,
twice apparently so far. That's
Yeah,
really
there we
awesome,
go.
though.
yeah, you just gotta take your, take shots.
I do love that. Like, I mean, I'm just assuming that that's how you keep your garbage closed at home. Too.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
you went out to your garage and grabbed that.
Yeah.
Right before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
You have to keep the riffraff in and out, right? So
you don't have anything seeping out of your garbage can.
Yeah, we're gonna see just like mutant children going and playing the guitars on the wall.
Alligator comes swinging across the background
I
there.
will say that like this, I could pick this up with one hand. I mean, so I don't know how much it must be the leverage, but
Oh, right. When he put that on there, I'm just like, really? That you think that's gonna just hold them down? Or
Yeah, get a bungee or something.
well, and also
that she'll do it.
he immediately implies that he knows all about these guys.
100%.
So they didn't crash land just now.
He like talks to them.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah. You know you can't come out of here. You guys will get in trouble. Remember last time?
All right. So
Rouse pops out.
then we get to see our hero of the show here, right? That he's getting bullied by people like twice his age. It's crazy.
It's not even bullied. That is assault. That's
Yeah.
what it's like. They should be arrested.
I like the inclusiveness that one of the bullies is female, but it's still an underage kid.
What I noticed about this was like they're all like jogging at
Yeah.
like a very slow pace.
Yes. That they're not marathon runners. You know?
Nobody. They weren't really trying to catch the kid. They were just trying to lure him to the cigarette guy.
To this guy.
Yeah.
Okay, creep, gimme.
I don't have
Calls
any
the
money.
kid a
If he
creep.
ain't got money, he ain't got nothing.
You're running out of time, creep.
Please.
Anyway,
Was creep like an insult? You creep. I mean, I
think it
guess if
still
someone
is.
calls me a creep, I guess it still is, yeah. But I mean, was that like a popular insult? Like, hey, give me the money, creep. But like a creep is like somebody who's creepy, not like.
I think they had to downplay it a little bit.
Yeah,
You know?
they were looking for not an R rating.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
We'd have to beep all the other words that were popular.
What was
in
this rating?
87?
This had to be PG, right? PG, yeah.
PG for pretty gross. Okay. So here's our other main character, Tangerine, right? So you get the sense that nobody has a real name in the beginning of the movie, like Dodger and Tangerine, right? But so she goes to the shop for no reason at all, right? And he's trying to show her buttons and all this stuff. And here come the bad guys.
Touch my woman, creep.
No.
They're coming to his place of work.
Juice. Baby, come on. He's just a kid. He's about 12
And his name's
years old.
Juice, too.
14. I'm almost
Yeah.
15.
So, and right here he says, I'm 14. I'm almost 15. He's 14 years old. These people are like 25.
Easily in their mid to late 20s.
All right, so they rough him up a little bit inside the antique store, and then they have him go outside, and they put him in the sewer, right? And I like that there's a little bit of foreshadowing here, because you can see on the wall it says where these pipes go. And so there's men's room, hot tub, primetime TV, toxic waste, zoo, dog pound. This is
Really?
IRS.
Like,
And so this comes into play later in the movie. But anyway, what they do is they turn this valve.
Shut up. Get down.
I mean, who's being the creep here, honestly?
And why didn't they rob the antique store?
I
mean,
They didn't see the value.
But
Yeah.
I mean,
They're fools.
that's what they're trying to shake them down for is money. Why didn't they take that? Why don't they have a register in their hand right now?
And they literally like held the kid upside down at one point to like take his money.
And if you think like, hey, wait, that place all it has is like buttons and stuff that nobody wants. No, they have one of these.
That set me back $33,000.
All right. I do give them credit that they do a good job of making sure you know it's not just water, right? Because you could see some of it on his face. So we get to meet the Garbage Pail Kids.
CIA. One of them said CIA on the pipe.
So they're tending to him. Now he's got to smell like sewage, right? He's got
The pail got knocked over when they were like
yeah.
scuffling aside, so that's how they escaped.
Yeah. Yeah, the bully woman's like, oh, it looks like elephant snot or something like that. Because when the garbage can falls over, it's just a bunch of green goo comes out.
And she's been around a lot of elephant snot in her life.
Yeah, that was her mother's maiden name. All right, so I just want to show you. So if you're like, oh man, he's like covered in sewage, you know, I guess this movie's gonna be a little gross. No, we start in with like the fart jokes, like right off the bat.
Hey, drink the red and you'll get dead.
Poor little guy. I hope he doesn't have to have a shot. Hope you can help him. This'll make him wake up.
You okay? You should've took
It was
a
at this
bath
point I
bomb.
knew we were watching the right movie.
Well,
Same to you,
and
buddy.
the costuming is so awful. Like I cannot think of a movie that has worse costuming department.
Let's talk about the cat or the crew.
Who do you want to know?
Who we got as a costume designer?
Costume designer? Well, let me tell you. But go ahead and keep playing the clip for a second while I
most of my clips are just of the kids here, so you can see what they're about, right? So this is when they robbed a Pepsi truck.
You ate the evidence.
Yeah, tough toothpaste.
What's the matter? My tummy hurts. What did you eat? Everything. That'll do it, all right.
Whoever Judy Seed champion is, she's not a champion. I tell you that right now.
What else? What else has she been?
She's been the costume supervisor for the wonderful show Knight Rider. She was in Teen
Wait a
Witch.
second. She's the costumes.
Yeah, so that's probably the people costumes.
Yeah, Michael Knight wore the same thing in every episode. And that's probably what Hasselhoff wore wore on his first
He
day.
just showed up there and
She's
they're
like, it's perfect. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. You're
It's
my
beautiful.
champion.
Beautiful. So she was the costume. Sorry, she was the costume designer.
Was there like a puppet effects or something? Like I don't know. Like
Maybe the art department.
Yeah, because I'm
It
gonna
just
guess
kinda
that the
takes you out of
costume.
it.
I'm gonna guess that the costume designer in this one is for the fashion show stuff.
yeah.
And then there's the makeup department, done by
There we-
John Carl Buchler.
Did he do anything else?
Heck yeah, he did. He did Reanimator. He was a supervisor on that. Hatchet, Friday the 13th, New Blood. We did that one. That one's out there, right? Did we?
Yeah.
No, I think we skipped over that one, didn't we?
Or did we not do New Blood? I don't remember. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, he's done other things like I'm not going to say the title of that one. Never mind. Maybe after the show. But, yeah.
So I also wanted to show that Tangerine, who knows he's 14 years old, keeps trying to seduce him.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up with that? That was a little awkward.
Well, this movie's supposed to be gross.
Oh, yes. In all different angles, huh? Did she state how old she was?
37. So, for people who haven't seen this movie and don't intend to, she is a clothing designer, and that's her way of getting, to the big time here and getting her credit and getting what's due. And so he had an outfit that was designed by the Garbage Pail Kids, and she loved it. She was like, "Oh, you look like you're 17. Let's turn out the lights, whatever." Yeah. And so he needs to ask the Garbage Pail Kids to make more clothes, and they need a dozen outfits by this weekend. And so this is when we get our song.
We do something nice. Let's quit now. That's my advice.
We can't do anything by working with each other.
I ain't gonna work for free. Tell me what's in this for me.
We can't do anything by working with each other.
Anyway,
It's like something out of Barney.
yes.
Dude, we sing that song pretty much every morning at work. I thought that was a thing.
There's no morning briefing, no good information. It's just all right, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4.
We
And everybody-
can't do anything with burping.
And we all take different parts every day. So we don't,
So some of you get to be
keep it
alligator.
fair.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
some
you
people get
just go for Greaser Greg every day.
Yep.
You're like,
Yep.
No, I'm Greaser Greg. I have the jacket.
Messy Nessie.
Messy Nessie. Sometimes Messy Nessie calls him sick though, so we don't get to do that. She's gonna do her part.
And I didn't include like all of there's 400 farts in this. There's the snotty girl. There's the nerdy kid keeps with the pimples keeps peeing his pants. Again, this is no joke. It's like this was supposed to be like an edgy kids movie, like where you're supposed to be like watching this with your parents, going like, "See, you guys don't get it. It's fun to be gross," but their parents are like, "This is just awful."
And weren't these like supposed to be like the anti like Cabbage Patch?
Yeah, like the parody.
Dolls?
Yeah,
The parody, like the cooler one. The kid with all the pimples. That's the one that kind of like grosses me out the most, I think.
Well, and then what's so gross about one of them being an alligator?
Yeah. He's an alien. It's fine.
By far the best name though.
Alligator. Okay.
Alligator.
So they decide to they decide to go out on the town. So half of them go to a movie, like Cam said in his synopsis. The others go to a bar, right? And so
Yeah, that's right.
here's a quick scene of what happens at the bar.
Hey, Wendy. All right, my man. Watch out with that.
There's part number 402.
Little sucker's got guts. He's with me.
I want something to go with toes, please. Hey.
Drinks for everybody.
They're kids, though.
It's in the title.
That one scene, the bar scene, is like the one where you're like, oh my god, there's definitely little people in these suits. And
Yes.
that's just like it when it's all of them together, like just doing the same thing. You're kind of like your immersion gets broken. But the bar scene, yeah, that one did not age well. And also, Trent, going back to the is this supposed to be a kids movie? I like that you said they're supposed to be watching with their parents, and then like, Billy, come over here. I've been noticing you've been spending a little bit of time with your babysitter. You got anything to tell me about your 22-year-old babysitter?
She likes my jacket.
I've been designing her clothes
Yeah, I mean,
Fine.
with a bunch of kids I found in a garbage can.
You just don't get it, Dad.
you just don't get it.
Don't be such a square. Okay, so here's where the sewer pipes come into play. So here's our main bad guy, and he's gonna use the commode. So he must be in the men's room, right, where the pipes are going.
Prime TV. Yes, Sisu.
So here's our other two bullies in a hot tub that has the hot tubs hooked to the city sewer.
Of course.
That's not how they work.
I don't. You're right. I mean, it says hot tub.
Yeah,
So
brown water. I think they could have played on this. That they could have accused one of them, one of the other of doing this.
Sure.
You know.
Yep. Gotta keep it PG though.
Yeah.
That's just a classic Hollywood trope that they don't know how sinks work. Like, no, they don't know how any plumbing works.
Oh yeah.
You know, like when the faucet
shoots water out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's not how it works. Come on.
So this is where they get put into the I forgot what the name of it is. The home for the ugly, was it?
Oh yeah. It's the state prison or
state
orphanage.
Home, state home for the ugly. That's what it was. And so they it's kind of funny. They get they're like too skinny and it's Abraham Lincoln. Too fat, it's Santa Claus. Too bald, and it's Gandhi. You know, that's like funny jokes to me. But here's what I thought was weird. Is so the bad guys, the bullies, brought the Garbage Pail Kids to this state home for the ugly, and the security guard pays them, right, for doing this out of his pocket.
Here's your bounty money, fella. You find any more little uglies, you know where to bring them.
So he pays them out of his pocket. This guy has like a personal stake in this, that he has to get all the ugly people off the streets.
Well, it's the way to do it. Just get pay
Yeah,
the
guys,
guy.
I got a business proposition. There's a school bus route near me. Those kids are ugly, dude.
How much?
$5 a head.
I'll admit, I'm one of those people who is super glad that the state home of the ugly doesn't exist. All right. So the real plot here is back to the clothing. So they end up making the clothes for Tangerine, and then she sold a bunch at this club, outside this club, and then now she has gotten the chance to be at this fashion show. And then the bullies kind of ruin this. So because this is where we find out that she's using young Dodger to make her clothes, so she can reap the benefits and the stardom that comes with it. But the Garbage Pail Kids come and ruin the whole event with their farts and their snot and their. And then we have this ridiculous fight between a 48-year-old and a 14-year-old, right? And they just pretty much slam each other to the ground a bunch of times. Again, probably for that PG rating. I like that she winces. Like,
This time, tough guy. Way to go, Phil. Come on, let's get out of here.
We used to do that. We used to do that when we went bowling. Somebody would go bowl, and then as they're backing up, you get on all fours, and they trip on you. Good times.
to 14-year-olds.
Yes.
Yeah, I still do.
When I was 27.
Yeah.
That'll teach them.
That'll teach them to have fun. Team night.
I thought this scene reminded me of A Christmas Story.
That looks kind of looks like the dad from Christmas Story.
A little bit. This.
The just punching repeatedly.
And then crying.
Again, just the look on her face.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like clearly a few of the scenes were cut around like what they originally shot compared to
What we see.
what actually ended up in the cut. And also the fashion shows, I love they're always just in like a blank warehouse with like Party City curtains behind. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a set.
Okay, but
Good job, guys.
so this is the end, but I want to stay on the fashion show thing a little bit because you guys are gonna hear this from the main person's mouth. It was her fashion show, right? I mean, so her fashion show was not only invaded by the bullies, but is invaded by the Garbage Pail Kids. Tons of fighting going on, tons of farting, tons of snot, tons of vomit, tons of urine, right? Like this is what happened. And listen to what she says.
I'm sorry.
Me too.
Look, the fashion show's a big success.
The fashion show was a big success.
Everyone had to buy new clothes because they were.
Yes.
I'll buy anything, I swear.
These clothes, they're not mine.
So she has like a come to realization that you know,
Maybe we
That
can-
he's 14 and she's
yeah. And but maybe they could still be business partners here with the Garbage Pail Kids. All right, so here's our end. They were gonna put them back in the garbage can, but then why bother?
Well, perhaps it would have been safer to lock them away from the world. But as you've taught me, Doctor, you can't change the world by locking yourself away from it.
Truer words.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's Do they grow up or they just stay the same?
No, they stay the same, and actually, global methane emissions have been linked to the Garbage Pail Kids. They've set us back 40 years.
So real quick, they did not make any type of sequel to this movie. From what I can find.
Bummer.
They do have a documentary that came out in
Yeah,
like
you told
2017.
you brought that up right before we started, and I was like, man, I really wish I would have watched that.
Which you can, I believe you can find that on YouTube. The same place where you're watching this video right now. YouTube.
Other streaming services are available.
So I guess my thing is with this movie is there's really no way this could have been good, right? Like I guess has there been any movie that's been successful that was based on like a weaker property than this?
I
Oh boy.
don't know how to answer that question. I don't think I've seen another movie that has more rankings of one than this movie on IMDb.
Well, and what I'm getting at is like, okay, so you have these cards, and they're making fun of the Cabbage Patch Kids, and then and somebody's like, we should make a movie. I mean, it probably could have worked as a cartoon. It probably could have.
Yeah, that's
Right?
the first thing I thought of was also a cartoon. It was like, well, then that's not really, that's not the same thing. Live action little people in the most hideous costumes you've ever seen. The costumes look like bad NCAA mascots.
There was a 19 after this came out. There was a 1988 show cartoon.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, that's good.
There's 13 episodes. It's just called the Garbage Pail Kids, the adventures of a group of really gross kids. And
does it have any fashion shows? Because if not, I'm not watching it.
I want the fashion shows.
They don't look all that gross to me.
No, they look like what the movie probably should have.
You can get away with more with cartoons. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also you would think though, going back to their costuming here, the costuming is their costumes are more disgusting than the vomit.
Yeah. But none
like
of the
Nickelodeon slime with 2 chunks in it.
None of the same character names though. Like this one, you have Dan Rattles, and you have Green Dean, you have Patty Putty, and Carly Cuts, and Elliot Mess. Like those aren't really like
not clever at all.
Remember the movie Battleship?
Yeah,
from a few years ago.
Yeah,
based on the game.
Yeah.
When that movie came out, there was people in my circle going, "That has to be the dumbest idea to make a movie from." And I was like, "Garbage Pail Kids." I mean,
yeah,
like the Garbage Pail Kids was a worse idea than making a movie about Battleship, the game.
Well, Battleship, yeah, you can just make that into
a war movie.
Yeah, I don't recall if I've ever watched that movie, but I highly doubt they're on their ship like F-12.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. And then those pegs come down from the sky.
What?
Yeah.
Not bombs. Oh. What are you talking about?
We're doing this movie.
Dude, Battleship, really? That happens?
Yeah. Yeah, aliens are battling them and they can't see the where they're shooting, so they have to have a grid. And they have to pick where they're going, and these things come down like the pegs that you put in the
No.
Yeah.
Oh. Soon they're gonna make like a checkers movie, and it's just gonna be giant, like one big board with big old checkers falling down. We're doing this movie. We need to. Yep, we got to do an action. I mean, we've done a lot of action. You know how I am with action, but
that's an action movie.
I know. I am surprised. I did not know that. I thought you were joking.
No.
It's called Battleship 2012. Alex Skarsgård's in that. Liam Neeson's in this movie. Rihanna's in this movie.
They sunk my battleship. You bastards!
Wow. Okay.
I have a certain set of skills to play Battleship.
Play Battleship.
I always find the submarine.
Yeah.
Oh my god, there's a lot of big names in this movie, man.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I will
we'll come back to that.
I will find you, and I will sink your battleship. Let's take a look at our next movie. And
once again, it's time for the synopsis with Cam. The synopsis with Cam.
All right, guys. Second movie tonight, Return to Oz. This heartwarming children's story with a never-before-seen concept will make you question everything you thought you knew about this iconic IP. Why can everything talk? How did we get here? When did the Scarecrow become king? How does this have a PG rating? Why didn't they get a higher quality clay for the Gnome King? I don't think we should have watched this, guys. I think we're too old.
Aww.
Dude, everybody I told that I'm watching Return to Oz. They're like, dude, that movie's full of nightmares.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Before we get too far into it, let's see who is in this movie.
Okay, there is a tail. That's why I like. Okay, well, first and foremostly, we have Dorothy, who is much younger in this version. You know, after she went to Oz the first time, apparently when she comes back, she, has the Benjamin Button syndrome here and loses her age and gets younger. But anyways, let's see how bad I butcher her name here. All right, you guys ready? So Dorothy, played by Farouza. I said it like 4 times correctly off air, and now I'm just like, it's part of the bit, guys. All right, it's part of the bit. Bulk. Anyways,
Fairuza Balk.
Yes, mostly known for her dramatic roles in The Craft and Waterboy, but more importantly, after that, she went to comedy and made this wonderful comedy called American History X.
Wait, is she the girlfriend in Waterboy?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Mind blowing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Can you see it now? Like,
yeah. That's good.
Next up, you have the character Dr. Worley, aka the Gnome King. Spoiler if you haven't seen this movie, but that was played by Nickel Williamson. He's been in quite a few movies that I recognized him from. But more importantly, I recognize him mostly from The Exorcist 3. Wow. He was Father Morning. He was also in Spawn. He was like the guy who was like constantly like watching over Spawn, I guess, if I remember right. I'm probably butchering that.
Oh, he played John Leguizamo.
and in this movie, he played Christopher Lloyd.
There was somebody else, and of course, I'm drawing a blank here, and I'm going to try to look it up as we go on. But there was another famous actor that was going to play this role, and they didn't for whatever reason. Did you guys do any research on that? Or no?
No.
My gut feeling would be it was probably Christopher Lloyd because he's just doing a Christopher Lloyd the whole movie.
I mean, it might have been. I should double check that here. And I got a couple more here. So Auntie M, played by Piper Laurie, she's mostly known for being Miss Karen from The Faculty. See, these are all movies I like.
Oh shoot! I should have worn my Twin Peaks sweatshirt tonight.
Was she in Twin Peaks as well?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I should have dug a little bit further. But last but not least, Tim Rose played in TikTok. Actually, there were multiple people that played TikTok. But you know who Tim Rose is?
No.
He's Howard the Duck.
Yes!
Oh. He's also Admiral Akbar.
Oh, it's a trap.
You know? Yep, it's a trap. That's who he is. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't know that until we were talking about the last movie, and I was kind of scrolling through this movie, and I realized that TikTok, who was my favorite character in this entire movie.
Yeah, he's a good character.
By far the best character in the movie.
Well,
yeah.
Well, before we get into clips, I feel like I have to correct at least Corey on this. I think Cam may have hinted to this as well, but this is not a sequel to the movie Wizard of Oz.
Which was super confusing when I first started watching it, and then instantly started going to my phone.
Well, because one, they reference in like the first scene that Dorothy's had these issues ever since the tornado, and two, they have the same freaking ruby slippers, even though it's a different production company.
So this is one of the very few movies that I, because I'm not much of a reader, that I read the book before I saw the movie.
Really?
Yes.
Which the movie portrays the book a lot better.
Yes.
Like more accurate.
Yes. Yeah. This movie is more like the book Return to Oz than the movie Wizard of Oz is to the Wizard of Oz, right? So I saw this movie when it came out I didn't see it in the theater or anything, but I absolutely remember where I was, and I remember that our neighbor, really good people like to have all the neighbor kids over to their house and let them watch movies and make food for them, and I remember we watched this movie and it was on they rented it for us on VHS, and the other kids didn't like it, and I was just glued to the screen going, this is rad, this is awesome, and I don't like to always bring props, but I have a prop.
I hope you have a TikTok.
No, I have a book.
Oh,
I have a kid's book. Return to Oz. It's amazing that they filled an entire book about the Dorothy in the ornament rooms. So just that 3-minute scene is this entire book. This book clearly was based on the movie, but man, the Gnome King looks really cool though. Yeah. There's a slip.
I'm like super into this right now. Like after I watched this movie, I went on YouTube and started trying to figure that out. So I got to say, about 3/4 in the way into the movie, my friend calls me and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm talking to him and I tell him what I'm watching, and he tells me that this is based more on the book than The Wizard of Oz, which to me that instantly makes me appreciate the movie a lot more.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this movie just became that much better by you telling me that one thing.
But so that being said, that it's more accurate to the book doesn't mean that it makes sense for the viewer, right? And so you can't take something in 1939 and make it one of the greatest things ever made, and then make another movie that's nothing like it. And I will say that I definitely like Return to Oz more than I like any of the newer movies, because those are so out of touch with like the feel of either movie that So I think this movie gets the feel right, even though some of the characters feel a little wrong, right?
But once you throw Wizard of Oz like out and just kind of like watch it for something separate, it's better.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Like even me watching it, my first question was, why is she younger?
Yeah, I mean, the main problems with this movie is Toto's not in Oz, right?
Nope. Got a chicken.
There's no talking trees, and there's no flying monkeys, right? If they could have just fixed those 3 issues, you would have been fine with everything else. You would have been fine with the Cowardly Lion being more like a lion, and
an actual lion,
and that the Tin Man and the Scarecrow are more like a drawing, than they are like, and you would have been fine with all of that if there would have been flying monkeys, I mean, it even shows Toto. Oh no, it doesn't show Toto in the picture. That's good. Okay, all right. So let's get into the clips. Yeah,
I'll just say Toto doesn't deserve to be in the picture. He wasn't even in the movie hardly.
I know. Just one more show and tell here is that I was
Toto. I swear. Okay,
it just pulls out Toto.
No, I was showing off. So I just started getting into laser discs as people are just liquidating them for nothing right now. But I do have Wizard of Oz on a mint laser disc. Which
full of props tonight. I love it.
Yeah, I just got it. I haven't watched it yet, but anyway, fun. All right, let's get into the clips. So I was gonna show, man, my clips got really long tonight, so I kind of just took a bunch out and I thought I'd just explain it. But essentially the movie starts off with Dorothy's more of a night gal. She likes to stay up and contemplate her thoughts, and her parents don't really like it. She keeps talking about this Oz place. Her parents are anti-Australian, so they want her to stop talking about this. And so they're gonna send her to this doctor who will electrocute these thoughts out of her little child mind, right? So this is the mom and her talking that her chicken just found the key to Oz.
No, look, Aunt Tam, it's proof. O-Z, Oz.
Dorothy?
My friend sent it to me on a shooting star.
Remember how we spoke?
Not to talk about Oz.
Why?
Because it's just my imagination.
I know you don't want to go to the doctors, but you just haven't slept the night right through since the tornado.
And then here's the shade that her mom's gonna throw on dear old dad, who we just saw. Needing a cane, he's limping terribly through the kitchen.
Lost the house in a tornado. Never before had to have a mortgage. Now we may have to have two. Winter's coming on. New house isn't finished.
Looking at dad just sitting there and doing nothing.
Sitting around.
He broke his leg.
Dorothy, that leg's mended. It's mended.
Ouch. Ouch.
He could do some work here.
Yeah, he's what we like to call in the clinical world faking it.
He's faking it.
Just like all these people who are supposedly from Kansas doing their mid-Atlantic accents.
Yeah.
It's like really took me out of it. Like, okay, we're we're just going for it. And the doctor and the nurse are the worst with it.
Yeah. But okay. So what's fun for the viewer in this movie is to find you have to almost watch it twice to find how she materializes certain people into her other world, right? Like that's fun. Like you have to it's not like.
I was gonna say just like the original too, like where you see all the different people that. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, but it was only the it wasn't like the Munchkins were anybody she knew. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just her three companions plus the Wicked Witch and then the Wizard, right? Those are the.
Do you think any of the Munchkins played a garbage kid?
I bet at least one did, honestly.
All right, go.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and then you see some smaller people, little people towards the end of this movie, and you got it. These were made about the same time, right? Both movies were made around the same.
Yes, this was
85, and the other one was 87.
Yeah, just a couple years apart. Yeah, they went.
Tampa got it.
Yeah, just few sets away. They're getting into their Garbage Pail Kid costume. Like if you look closely, you can see some of the snot. Anyway, so
electrical marvel will make it possible for you to sleep again, and it will also get rid of all those bad waking dreams that you've been telling me about. Now, this fella here has a face. You see it? Here are his eyes, and this must be his nose, and this must be his mouth. But what's this, Dorothy? Why, it's his tongue.
You like tongues, Dorothy?
Yeah, so creepy.
Isn't it?
Will it hurt?
But no.
No, tongues. Tongues don't hurt.
Tongues don't hurt. Electrocuting might.
No. It just manages electrical current.
So we're gonna take a young girl. We're gonna put these headphones on her, and we're gonna send electrical current and get those thoughts right out of her head. Yeah. That's a wonderful thought. Anyway. So this
that's a wonderful thought.
So I'm guessing, I feel like we're led to believe that this is TikTok, which is that this is the one that doesn't make sense because, in the other movie, Wizard of Oz, the good guys are good guys and bad guys are bad guys, right? People that she met in the real world that had negative, reaction to that she had negative experience with become the negative people in Oz, right? But it feels like this is not a good thing, but it also feels like this must be TikTok, right?
Being the machine and all.
Yeah. Right? And even though TikTok doesn't have a tongue that we know of. Right? So I don't know. It feels like we spent a long time figuring out that these could be the eyes, that could be the nose, this could be the mouth and the tongue. It feels like we spent a long time on that for it not to be TikTok. However, TikTok has a mustache, so I don't get it. But this is when this is what sets this movie different from the original Wizard of Oz is that Dorothy does not need a tornado to get to Oz, right? And also, Dorothy, the original movie, as you guys know, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but the original movie kind of ends with like it was all a dream, wasn't it?
And you were there, and you were there?
Yeah, and she says, I just had the craziest dream, I think. Yep. Right? And, she's like, she can't, she thinks it's a dream because it was so crazy, but it really did feel like she was there, right?
Yeah.
Well, in this, she's actually able to see Oz things in the real world, right? So maybe she does need some electrotherapy. So,
I mean, her story doesn't check out. You would think like, okay, our daughter she's nuts.
Yeah.
She definitely needs to get, shock therapy.
Yeah, like you live in Kansas. This is not the only time your house is going to get taken away in a tornado. You can't count this as trauma anymore.
You can't call him sick because of this.
So she sees a reflection, but it's not her.
Delusions. And wouldn't you know, madam, we have found out that sometimes they bring about
This gave me like such Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, kind of.
Like, did you ever see the TV Alice in Wonderland movie with like the Jabberwockies and like the mirror and she stepped through the mirror?
Yeah, through the looking glass.
Dude, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be a good one to do maybe. Anyways, go on.
Would you like to go for a ride, Dorothy?
So like I said, I really love the trying to figure out who she's going to manifest into her other world here.
I mean, instantly you think that's going to be like the Wicked Witch, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the way that she's dressed.
Well, and also, did you guys notice that these guys show up in Oz?
Oh, are they wheelers?
They are. And I think that's the funnest thing because they put her on a wheeled cart. That's why they're the wheelers. Isn't that awesome?
Oh, that's the quote of the night right there. The connection to, I love it.
To do what you told me, Miss Wilson.
Then lie down.
Ooh. You saw the number of the room, right? That comes up later in the movie. The number is 31 on the door that she's in there. And they talk about that later in the movie about there's, 31 pieces or something. They say something about 31 later on in the movie. Should have wrote it down.
Yeah, that's how many heads she has.
Oh, yeah, she has 31 heads. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you've seen this a couple times?
I have. Yeah.
Okay.
I love the sass from Dorothy here. I'm not gonna.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, she's really good, even though she's just a little kid.
Yeah.
Not really delivering lines very well, but she's really good throughout the whole movie. But especially in the like asylum, she's just like super sassy.
Yeah, like so just so the audience can hear this scene. So that she's asking why she has to be tied down, right?
To do what you told me, Miss Wilson.
Then lie down.
She's being compliant.
Why do you have to tie me down?
So that you don't fall off.
I came all the way from the farm in the buggy and didn't fall off.
I mean, geez. And later she's on like friggin' flying moose head.
Yeah, there's one of your wheelers.
So that you don't fall off. Oh yeah, Kansas accent,
So there are some problems with this movie. So okay, so did this happen?
The whole chase scene?
Yeah, so they put the headphones on her. They're gonna put the electricity through her, but the place gets electrocuted. Right? Gets struck by lightning. Right.
Right.
So the power goes out, and the girl that she saw in her reflection helps her out, and they escape. right? So now this lady is chasing them through the woods. Did this even happen? We'll talk about it more later. But yeah, if you're wondering if this movie's gonna bring it more than Wizard of Oz, this does. I mean, there's 2 little girls here. In a moment, there's only gonna be 1 little girl.
I took it as like this is their tornado of the original. Like this is how she, well, that's what my mind was going through when I was watching it. Obviously, I know what happens at the end though too. So she goes into that river and probably gets knocked out or something like the tornado did. I don't know.
But is this lady chasing her for real?
I don't really know what's real in this movie and what's not. It's a tough one to answer. Like, is she already in Oz?
I don't think she's in Oz, but this is confusing.
He's definitely crazy and he's shock therapy.
This kind of reminds me of Titanic.
Yeah, watch. They both get on.
And then, and then it sinks.
Well,
I think it answers.
Well, yeah, it's because it's not salt water.
Oh. So that the girl's gone.
Hey, I'm the science guy over here. I love it.
The other little girl's gone. Zero remorse.
Oh, I had swim, dude.
I had never seen this movie, and at this point, I'm like, what is happening? Okay, I'm like, okay, so I'm trying to put 2 and 2 together. Like, okay, she's gonna go to Oz because of this, and then she wakes up in Oz, and this happens. I hope you're about to show it. Let me see.
I guess I don't know if I'm gonna show it.
I think you are. I would imagine you are.
Oz.
Showed it. Chicken.
Maybe this is Oz.
Oz? Well, I think I'll have myself a look around and see if I can find myself some breakfast.
There's a talking chicken in this movie? Are you kidding me?
There's a talking lion in the other one.
Yeah, this is a chicken.
So it brings up the question: is the chicken that she was looking for the eggs with earlier in the movie when she was at home? Is that chicken really there?
Didn't her mom say something about the chicken or no? She
said mom says if you don't lay an egg pretty soon you're gonna be we're
gonna butcher you.
Yeah, you're gonna be
cold blood. You're gonna be freaking buffalo wings.
You're gonna be the Colonel's original
Friday night
recipe.
game.
Okay.
I just want to put in my 2 cents. I know it's not funny or anything, but one, Ozma she's trapped in reflective material, and so the river would be, like, she wasn't necessarily guiding Dorothy to Oz, but like she would just melt back in like she does in several other scenes.
So
in the movie.
good. That's so smart. Okay, I get it.
And then also the witch. The head nurse, we see her, which I'm sure we'll see later, immediately when Dorothy gets found at the end when she returns. We see her getting hauled away to an insane asylum.
Yeah, yes. because
in the exact same like cage that she was trapped in.
Yeah, you're giving away my clips now.
Sorry.
So I like that. I like the thing about Ozma. So what if our viewers haven't seen this movie before, when they're at the asylum, Dorothy can hear people screaming. So the lady in charge over there has to really pay for that at some point, right? Let's get to Oz here, okay? So Oz looks different. It's not as colorful because it wasn't colorized, right? Like that's the difference, right?
Yeah, and also there's a few scenes very early in the Desert of Despair where it's like oh my god, this must have been one of the first green screen movies.
Yeah,
there's like a clear halo around Dorothy.
Yeah, and the chicken, just even in that shot.
Yeah,
that's a bad shot. I love that we get to see the house though, right?
Elena, this is our old house.
It also shows that her father, not only is he, possibly crippled or possibly faking it, he also doesn't have much of an imagination. He's going to build that exact same house. Her bedroom's even going to be in the same spot.
Well, that's not how. What I know how to build.
So again, this is where for a kid, this gets super fun. As an adult, I still think it's fun. So what's happened to Oz is everybody's turned to stone.
It's a Tin Woodsman. Oh, Tin Woodsman, what's happened to you?
And by the way, this is just where some of the proof, right? That this is not a sequel to the Wizard of Oz movie because it's not the Tin Man, it's the Tin Woodsman. That's the way it was in the original book, right?
Sure, yeah.
And he even looks like he does in the illustrations of the original book, right?
What's happened to everybody?
And the lion's a lion?
Oh, cowardly
Yeah.
Oh, cowardly lion. What's happened to you?
Come here, chicken!
Slipknot's in this movie?
So
I had placed these characters. So again, comparing it to the 39 film, all right, 1939. To me, these were the flying monkeys. Like when they showed them, like, okay, so these are to replace the flying monkeys. That's just how my thought process went. Prior to knowing anything really about the book and how close it was. Man, I didn't realize that they had a whole series of books.
Well, and I love that the number one, I love that the wheels squeak like the cart did. You know, that she was on the gurney.
Oh yeah.
But also just to kind of pick at this movie a little bit, I wouldn't have used this setting because even as a child, I was like, why wouldn't she just go to the stairs? They can't do anything to her there, right?
We haven't seen a single sick grind from any of them.
Oh, I just showed this scene, because of all the neat little things she has to do through this movie, this feels like she got chased into exactly the right spot that had a keyhole for the key that her chicken found earlier. This seemed super dumb, but then you kind of think
the chicken was guiding her there.
Okay, well, but. But one is, I guess you have to think that this is a child's mind, right? So, because we do learn that this is not real, right? Like Oz is not a real place, right? But so it kind of makes sense that everything she has a way out, right? And it kind of goes that way in the original Wizard of Oz movie. But what I did want to show in this scene though is there's a weird cut. Right, and it's weird. So I don't know if they had a solid door that she puts the key into, and then they had to then start the scene from when it's a door.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
There's a weird cut here. So she puts the key in there, and then it cuts. It's weird. It's like they put the key in, stopped the film, then interjected another scene of it opening it up. I don't know why. It's kind of distracting.
Distracting.
I did notice, Trent, there were quite a few. I hadn't watched this since I was like probably 12, 13. I was watching it on a streaming service that owns this particular IP, and there were a lot of like motion blurs that didn't exist that I didn't remember, and like cuts like that, like that were not obvious to me, maybe just because I was like little and didn't realize it, but there were like some weird motion blurs with pans and things too. And even lighting, especially in the Gnome King's chamber later, where it looked like it might have been some sort of like remaster.
Oh, you know what? You're right. I didn't even think about that this is probably a scrubbed version if it needed it. But there's probably things that were edited. I have the original somewhere. I should have watched that. I just out of convenience watched it off that same streaming service that you did. But that makes sense.
I'll put on something more.
Some of it improved, like a lot of the palace scenes, especially toward the end, looked really solid. Like, I'm sorry, off my cinematography high horse here.
Well, I love that she's like, I'm gonna go slip into something a little bit more appropriate. Right?
Come with me.
So she goes into a room full of heads. It's a kids movie.
Yeah.
Goes into a room full of heads to find which head she's gonna put on.
And that she doesn't just go in and come back out. She's just like, here, let me show you. I'm a freak.
4 will do for this afternoon.
Yeah, if you didn't think that doctor's tongue bit was gonna scar you for life, how about this? I like that they're all alive and moving.
It says here that a lot of shots during this scene actually were cut. So they show less heads in this version than they do in the original.
Oh. They do show when she is walking around like the courtyard, she does see the bodies for these heads. Like they're all dancing and they're
the ones that are but there's only like 7 of them dancing. So like there's a lot more than 7 heads.
Just who might you be? What are you doing here?
Cool. It's
You think she's gonna be like helpful?
Yeah.
I guess first. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she's you trust anyone who's just strumming a D chord on a mandolin while a complicated song.
All the time. All the time. It's actually a problem of mine. I trust too many people that do that.
And so this is the part where if you're watching with somebody who's never seen this before, they go, "That's the Scarecrow."
No, he's much more disappointing. I promise you.
I like this character.
What is this? A man?
No, I mean the Scarecrow.
Oh.
So, yes, kind of. Since I just watched this for the first time, so I saw him and I'm like, is that supposed to be Scarecrow? I'm like, I don't think that's Scarecrow. Is that? No, it's not. So, but it did trigger my head to think, could it be? But yeah, I didn't think it was.
Yeah,
hey, it's TikTok. We got TikTok now. We got.
Well, I'm gonna say, I think I when I watch this movie with somebody and they think that it's the Scarecrow, I think they're kind of racist. I think they all look the same.
They all just ragdoll. This guy clearly has a brain. It's a chicken.
Yeah,
that he keeps inside.
There's a talking chicken.
I like that.
There's a chicken. No. Yeah.
So
I'm liking this movie more and more. I know I say this every time, like every podcast, but like I'm really enjoying this movie more with the clips. Second time here.
So this is another character that Corey mentioned earlier. It's the moose, purple moose head from the wall, right? That they've put together on a couch and some fern, leaves, and
they like tied it together with some like hemp or something, whatever it was.
And he's played by Tom Hanks.
Who? What?
His name's Gump.
Oh. God. I'm like, how did I miss that in the casting crew?
This movie
that's crazy looking.
This movie kind of reminds me of the Never-Ending Story.
And Alice in Wonderland. Never-Ending Story. Alice in Wonderland. What was it, the Flying Bike Kid? Whatever that movie was. No.
I do think all the flying scenes are really charming. Like, if you look at what I always thought of was like Harry Potter 1, that was like 2001, somewhere around there. The flying scenes look exactly the same as this movie.
Yeah.
Like the flying scenes in this movie are kind of fun. Like, it's clearly they're just flailing around lying on a green screen, but it's like pretty charming. You can actually see a few times the like what do you call it? Like the staging grid?
Okay.
Like where they're supposed to go like hit their mark. Like you can just see it on like when Dorothy's falling through the sky. You can just see her lying down on a grid.
Yeah, and the effects didn't hold up, but this wasn't a major budget movie either.
No, it was like a 20 million, which for Disney back then would have been pretty small, but also it did get nominated for Best Visual Effects, and it only lost to, I think, Cocoon, which is hilarious because you watch Cocoon now and I'm like, holy crap, this is the worst. the all right story, but like the actual effects in Cocoon, are you kidding me? Compared to this, the claymation walls talking to each other and everything. I don't know if we got any of that in here, but
a little bit.
It's very fun.
I just wanted to show this guy this scene's because of his shoes, right?
Are you sure?
I thought this looked cool.
Come back for these.
Slipper.
No. My ruby slippers.
So
I'm afraid I can't do
show
that, Gandalf.
Yeah.
I think it's $20 million budget and $15 million was paying MGM for the Ruby Slipper rights.
What did you think they were budgeted for? You said.
I think 20, 25, somewhere around there.
Yeah, you nailed it. Nice.
So this is just the scene from my book where she has to pick. This isn't. By the way, earlier when I said I read the book first, this isn't the book I was talking about. No,
I was curious.
No, my grandma had the big book of The Wizard of Oz and the big book of Return to Oz, and they're really fun to read.
Trent, did you ever read the first one?
Yeah.
Do you remember? This is like iconic in my head. Where the scarecrow kills all the crows.
No, I do not remember this.
Oh my god, go back and read it. It's brutal. And they're like, "Are you even a scarecrow?" And he's like, "Let me prove it to you." And like you're in your head, you're thinking of like the goofy little dance and everything, and then he just rips off like 30 crows' heads.
I don't remember that. I do remember there was a lot about taxes.
Yeah.
Like it was there was a big kind of dull moment in that book where there's a lot about taxing the people of Oz, and that the money goes to the wizard, and you're like, I didn't.
Awesome.
Yeah, I didn't sign up to watch, read 60 minutes here. I wanted to.
Yeah, freaking 1885. This was written in. You guys were worried about taxes? Come on.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing with the original. The original story was definitely a message about what happens with the middle class and the working class and how they all intermix, and there's a deeper meaning to it. But the rest of the books don't have as much of a opinion, towards that kind of stuff. But yeah, they're definitely, like, the original had some concepts in there that were a little bit
concepts of ideas, concepts of plans,
symbolism. So she realizes that everything green turns into the people.
And that was actually scary.
Guessing it.
But here's the Gnome King. Yeah, they could have done a better job. But as a kid, this was scary.
You promised that if we guessed correctly.
What?
I don't know why he only has one eye.
What ridiculous writing, though, to make this like evil guy be just terrified of chickens.
Yeah.
Like, it's hilarious. I mean, I love it, and I'm just like, it's his weakness. I was reading up on his fandom here.
Because that's what happened that day. That's what happened to Dorothy that day. She needs her chicken to lay an egg.
To lay an egg.
That's.
I mean, okay. You make good point.
It's all what it's all what
sense. Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
It's all what happened to this girl this day. I love that the chicken rides around Jack's head.
Yeah, like you gotta be incognito. Oh dear.
Oh, no, dear.
So, I mean, in the beginning, she needed that egg to save the day for her chicken, right?
Yeah, and I
also who can't just swallow one entire hard-boiled egg? Like, come on.
The Gnome King can't.
You guys usually I usually just I'll just raw dog 3 of them for breakfast. Just gulp them down, no chewing. Just gulp them down.
Well, I think what the Gnome King has proven is that he's more vegan than anyone.
Yeah.
So this is where she sees Ozma in Oz. I think it's a cool effect here. I think this stuff's fun.
Well, and also like in 1985, having a mirror room like this where they have it staged properly for the camera work, very good.
Yeah.
I was afraid you would drown.
They do like such a good job having like the reflection here. I know it's a small screen, but
and that was the what the key looked like, right?
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Her
father.
And then there she is behind bars. Yep.
Ozma grew up as Mombi's slave. But when the Gnome King promised Mombi 30 beautiful heads if she kept Ozma a secret, she enchanted her into the mirror.
I forgive Mombi. Dorothy has punished her by removing her magical powers. And a witch with no magic is a miserable creature indeed.
Ouch.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Ouch.
Okay, check this out. He had cane for a second.
And then he's just like, no!
He throws it. He threw his cane, and he's running towards her. With Yeah, well, check this out. Check this out. Bad leg and all, right? I mean, he's going to pick her up and run with her.
Up you go, sweetheart.
Yeah, and Auntie M doesn't even call him out.
While they're in front of other people.
It would have been a hilarious,
Oh,
like second to last scene of the movie, just them fighting.
You wait.
And then the Curb Your Enthusiasm music starts playing.
or maybe like a workman's comp, Private Eye is like, and he starts just limping. He's like, oops, no, well, that trick leg of mine.
This is the adrenaline.
All right, and then here's the wonderful end that Cam stole from me, is that we get to see her behind this. So here's what's crazy is Dorothy's dream here ends up being she can see into the future. So Dorothy dreamed that this woman would be behind bars, and then she was. What?
Was she dreaming, or did it really happen?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
I
thought it was like foreshadowing, like, you know, it happened in Oz, it happens in real life.
So that's the last of my clips, but the clip I would love to have shown you just doesn't exist. right? So they do show her at home, right? And she sees Ozma in her mirror in her bedroom, and so it's like, okay, she can just turn this on and off, and then Ozma tells her to keep it a secret so people don't think she's all loony and stuff, right? So but what would have been great is because nobody notices that they have a chicken missing. The chicken stayed in Oz. She's with Ozma, right?
Yeah.
So you know what would have been great is when Dorothy and Toto go out to play, that she said, you know, make sure you're back at dinner time. We're having chicken.
That would have been great.
Full circle.
So anyway, that's that.
Or like Dorothy's like, I just want one egg for supper. I'm sorry. It's gonna be an entire roast chicken.
Well, so I guess I forgot to mention. So the ending is like the asylum did get struck by lightning, and it started a fire, and the doctor is the only one who wasn't saved because he went back in to save his devices, right? And so he died, and then they must have discovered all the screaming people downstairs that are locked up, and then so that's why the lady's locked up. So it feels weird to me that, so as far as anybody cares to know, she's cured. Dorothy's cured. We don't need to take her to another hospital now, right?
You know, unless she starts talking about Oz again.
Yeah, but
that was also the only hospital in Kansas.
Yeah, and it was like announced, like in the paper, that we're gonna have we finally have a doctor to do these procedures. But
electroshock therapy.
I think it's interesting that we did. It was struck by lightning, just kind of like that's electricity. Just like they were going to send through her headphones. So, as far as anybody knows, that guy's plan worked. It just wasn't him that did it, right? That God himself decided to electrocute that little girl through the whole building to get that Oz stuff out of her mouth. I don't know.
Well, and she does still have the nodes on her head when the lightning strikes.
Yeah,
because he was about to throw the switch, and then that's when it. Yeah. And then the screams, the ambience in this movie is insane. Like, there's really not much music, and it's like the squeaking wheels and like the rocks creaking, and like it's really good. It makes like watching it as an adult now. I'm like, well, that's a little bit less creepy, but this is thoughtfully done. Like. Whereas as a kid, I was like just sitting there, my heart rate was at like 140, rocking back and forth. Another Rice Krispie treat to calm the nerves.
Right? Yeah.
So one more lap back on my problems with this. Okay. So had you not seen the woman at the end in the locked up little carriage, would you have maybe assumed that the building wasn't struck by lightning and that she in fact did get the
treatment? Yeah,
I had thought she did, and then maybe like that's when she ran afterwards.
But the no matter how you like to view this movie, which is fun that you can view it a couple different ways, her running out of there into the river, it's hard to understand how that could have happened.
I don't think it did.
Like in no scenario, I mean, like the Ozma girl wasn't really there, right?
Well, in her mind.
Yeah. So anyway, that's.
So I'm curious. I mean, you guys we're talking a lot. We like this movie, and I'm curious. I feel like we got some high scores coming.
Well, let's do.
We can come back to it.
Let's
do
the
other one first.
GPK first here.
The supreme movie of the night. The Garbage Pail Kids. Trent, you go first.
I'm gonna give it a 2. I like watching movies like that because they're fun, but it's not a good movie.
No, yeah.
I wish I could find the soundtrack as well. That's all I would need.
I don't think there's still a whole lot to say about this movie. I mean, I'll go next. I mean, I also give it a 2, and I mean, it was difficult to find. Like, no streaming service is even letting them no streaming service is letting this movie on their streaming service. Like, thankfully, Trent had it. But yeah, I give it a 2, and I wouldn't buy it. You did buy it though, Trent, didn't you?
I did.
You did buy it. What was like $3? Hopefully.
Actually, I don't know. I didn't buy it for much. I got it from the same guy I got all these Laserdiscs from.
You didn't write it down in your ledger?
Yeah, right.
For tax purposes.
Cam.
Yeah, for insurance.
What are you giving this wonderful?
Yeah, no, it deserves a 2 for sure. I mean, it's pretty entertaining. That's about it. It's not entertaining for the right reasons, though. It's just like, what is this trash movie? And the production design on it with the like sets and everything, it's just awful. What was the budget on that one?
Oh
Corey?
crap! Oh dude, I should.
I bet it was dirt cheap.
Garbage Pail Kids, 1987. Oh, by the way, IMDb gives it a 2.7.
Oh,
good for them.
Let's see how many people ranked it. About 8,800 people have ranked this movie.
That's a lot of people.
They had a budget of $1 million.
Wow. Okay. I mean,
$1 million.
Wow.
It grossed and it made about 576,000.
So really, when you only have $1 million to work with, maybe you should have made a movie called Garbage Pail Kid.
One, and it could have been Danny DeVito.
That would have been great. Just don't even put him in makeup.
There he is. Anything else on this movie?
Did you guys have the cards?
No. There was a girl in my 4th grade class who she thought she was trolling us all because we were big into Pokemon, and so she'd bring him to school like it was clearly like her uncle or cousins, and she'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'll trade you this," and we were like, "Get that crap out of our face! I want a freaking Pikachu."
I remember seeing them and not really understanding what they were.
I remember when you'd get the cards, the biggest thing was that every illustration had 2 cards. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like they would have they'd have the same illustration, but they'd give them 2 different names, right? Like, so they would reuse the artwork at least twice for every single one.
Just different name.
Yeah, and so it was really fun to try to find make sure you have both, right? I mean, so but not all of the Garbage Pail Kids were just like covered in snot and pee. I mean, they were like, there's ones with like eyeballs all over.
There's
them
a bunch of them.
Yeah,
I wonder how many. Oh gosh.
Yeah, there were other bodily fluids.
How many are there? You think?
It's been still going on. I mean, they came back like 10 years ago.
I saw someone not too long ago with a Garbage Pail Kid pop socket on their phone. I don't know which one it was though.
Here it says that there's 15 series of them between 85 and 88. I mean, I don't have to go into figuring all that out. We'll wait. If you want to figure that out, go ahead and figure that out. But what about the next one?
You go first.
Me? Return to Oz? You want me to go first?
So we can put you down.
Oh my gosh. Well, first off, I feel like an idiot for not realizing the chicken thing. All right. I think at the beginning of the movie, I was like, okay, what am I getting myself into? I think Cam picked this one, and we'll see what's up, you know. But I liked it. I liked it a lot, and I love talking about it tonight and listening to you guys. And Cam, like, you know so much about this movie. We should talk about it afterwards. But like, this is a cool movie. I'd go back and watch it again. I give it a 7. I give it a 7. A solid 7. I probably wouldn't buy it because I can get it on that streaming service that we all have. And but I would definitely recommend it to people. Yeah. Who's next?
Cam?
I think a 7's a solid score. When I rewatched it for this, I wasn't as impressed as I was back in the day, pounding Rice Krispie treats watching it, but it was it really held up. Very good movie. It's it's a
I
very
like
good
all the
movie,
tools,
and that's
you know?
not something we do on this very often.
Right, I like the tricky things, like
Yeah.
we're talking about, like the egg. The fact that the egg is the the most important thing that can happen, like the way to win. Like that was cool. But yeah, sorry, I stole your show. Go ahead.
No, I think with like the nostalgia factor going in, I probably would have put it at a solid 9. But like just watching it as is, solid movie. I love that it's the little girl's the Dorothy's the girlfriend from Waterboy.
You just figured that out. That's great.
That's great. Also, I remember reading on the VHS, they had like little fun facts in the little like booklet that they would put in there. That the chicken was played by over 40 chicken actors.
Oh.
I always loved that detail because I would always watch it at my grandma's farm where we had a ton of chickens. And I was like, oh, you guys are all movie stars.
And you go out there like, okay, if we go to another world,
all right,
which
one of you has to find one of you has to find a key, all right? I want to get out of here. I'm stuck here for another 8 hours.
I forgot to say one thing. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. But from the other movie, I wrote this down. I just looked down. So Messy Tessie, the person who played Messy Tessie, was the Emperor Penguin in Batman Returns. Oh. All right. So she played a penguin. And then Alligator, Grease Greg, and Foul Phil were all Ewoks in Star Wars.
Wow.
Boom.
Star Wars 4.
Drop the mic.
That would be 6, right?
Oh yeah, 6. Sorry. That'd be 6. That'd be 6.
Okay. Well, my score.
IV is 6, right?
Yeah.
VI would be.
I guess I wrote it down wrong.
I'm
killing it tonight.
Cam, what was your score?
7.
7. Man, okay, I'll give it a 7. I was gonna go higher, but I'll give it a 7. One thing we didn't bring up real quick. I keep talking about this, but I kind of started on it and then kind of lost where I was going. But I feel like some of the puzzles that she does, and they kind of gradually get more interesting, right? But I'm disappointed with the key at the end of the needing the key at the end of the alley. I think that was not as fun as the other things that she comes up with. But when you put the thing in your mind that this all has to be something that somebody of her age can come up with, a clearly creative individual is coming up with all this stuff. What's clever is TikTok's ruse in the ornament room.
Yeah.
Right? Like that. So when you think of this as a creative person designed all this in their head and are working this out, that's extremely intelligent. So just a recap for anybody who hasn't seen this is TikTok needs to be wound. And so he pretends to, need a winding, right? In the room. So basically they're all the characters, all of our friends have to go and take a turn in the throne room or in the ornament room, and they get 3 chances to pick an ornament and say Oz, and then it should turn into somebody from Oz. And but what TikTok does is he pretends to die down until she gets in the room, and she goes to turn him she's like, wait, you're already wound up, and he goes, I did that so that he goes, I have one guess left, and I want you to be able to watch what I pick to see if that gives you a clue on what kind of things to pick. That's genius. That's genius. And the reason why I say
give it an 8. Dang it.
The reason I say that's genius is that is just clever enough for the cleverest young person to come up with. Right? It's not super, complex that, for a scientist to come up with, but that's wise, right? So I think that's kind of fun. But I'm still going to give it a 7. I really like this movie. I've always liked this movie. And, if this was on every week, I would watch it. If Garbage Pail Kids was on every 10 years, I'd watch it too.
Wait, Wav.
What?
What's that in the mirror behind you?
It's Ozma.
It's Ozma.
That'd be pretty sweet, though, wouldn't it? I'd say, I gotta go.
Sorry, guys.
That's what I would say. But I'll also say, we gotta go. I think that was our episode, right? That was fun. That was a great movie. I don't know. Good segue there. Well, that was fun. Thanks for joining us, everybody. And we'll see you again on another episode of Do You Remember This Movie?
This must be his. Huh. What's this? Dorothy. Why, it's his tongue.
Or this TV show. What's the matter? My tummy hurts. What did you eat? Everything. That'll do it, all right.